Hey everybody, I'm Rick. Welcome to Talking Habs, where you get your daily fix of Bleu Blanc Rouge. We've got game number 55. Carolina is the host tonight. Montreal is on the road. I believe it's a 4-game road trip. I think it's 4 games. Anyway, we're in Carolina tonight for the first time this season. And it's game 55. I'll get my bearings eventually. So Montreal against Carolina. I've got some game day news. I've got a game preview. I have the lineups, and I also have this thing. It's called the Guess the Score contest. Guess the score of the game and the first goal scorer of the game. And you can pick that guy from either team, and you win the $10 cash prize directly into your bank account via Interac. All right, so leave that guess in the comments, and you have to be the first one in the comments with that guess to win. So if you're making a guess, it always behooves you, if you know what that word means, to check and scroll up and see if anyone's made your guess. If it's already there, just change it a little bit, and we'll be good. All right. I remember the two things have to go together. So if you have somebody with the same guess but a different goal scorer, then you don't have to change anything, just so people understand. What else do I have? That's about it. Let's see who's here. I don't even know who's here. Only Jason LaRose. Hey Jason, how you doing? 5-3 Carolina. Aho with the first goal. Very similar to my guess. Very similar. So it's this going forward for the rest of the season, it's going to be a bit of a tougher road for Montreal. There's going to be games like this. There's a lot of tough games. We're coming up, I think, after Saturday's game. So next week is all late games. 10:30 games and a 10 o'clock game, and one of the 10:30 and 10 o'clock game is back-to-back. So against difficult teams, it's going to be a tough road ahead for Montreal. So everybody that wants them to tank, I think, again, it's going to be organically because they're going to be playing teams that are better than them, and I don't expect them to have a winning record the rest of the way going to the end. So I don't know. I'm not saying it right. Baby, how you doing, buddy? 5-3 and Suzuki. He's put Suzuli, but I'm pretty sure that means Suzuki. Let's see. The L and the K are right next to each other on the keyboard. Good guess. Again, very close to mine, except he has Habs. I'm not taking the Habs tonight. I mean, that's very optimistic of you. But yeah, I don't think I can pick the Habs tonight. Stan the Man, 3-2 Carolina. First goal will be a real hockey player, also known as, RHP. Raphael Harvey Pinard with the first goal. Doesn't matter who's here. My guess is 5-2 Carolina. And I get to pick, because I have a feeling it could be KK with the first one, but Sebastian Aho with the first goal, or KK. One of the two is going to get it. I'm the only one allowed to pick two people because my guess doesn't count. Did I see the video of Sami Zayn at the last game? I'm not possibly sure. That name I have seen on Twitter. Without a doubt, over the last day or two, I've seen the name, but I imagine I didn't really pay attention to what it was about. But I saw that a lot, like scrolling through. So enlighten me, because I'm not sure. I may have seen it. It's not registering anything more than I've seen the name. All right, till you do that, on this day in 1985, the Montreal Canadiens retire that number right over there. They retire Guy Lafleur's number 10 and raise it to the rafters, and that was in 1985 on February 16th. So that was, I remember that too. I was obviously watching that. It was a couple of days after my birthday, and it was awesome. Stan message the wrestler. Oh no, I didn't see it. Maybe that's why I didn't pay attention, because I'm not into wrestling. He got a T-shirt. It says honorary Hab from Ghoulie and Slaps. I did see that. I didn't pay much attention to it, but I did read the headline and I did see that, but I don't know any more than that. So yeah, I did see that, but it did not register. Hey Doug, how you doing, man? Carolina 4, Montreal 2, KK first goal. See, not the only. I think a lot of people are going to say KK, but I believe Sebastian Aho is a freaking Montreal, Montreal killer. Or what did I call that? Am I saying it right? Because now in my brain it's not Habs killer. That's it. But I mean it's the perfect. Like if KK gets the first goal, and he's been playing better, I understand, putting up some points lately. He kind of that's hockey. Habs announced at actually on Twitter, the Habs, so not just somebody writing about it, but the Habs announced Monahan now officially at practice in a non-contact or no contact jersey. The timeline, and this is coming from a reporter, looks like maybe not on this 4-game road trip, but he's practicing with them, and that's why he's on the road trip. He may play, but it looks like February 25th against Anaheim. So I think that's the last game of the road trip. So a reporter saying that maybe that would be great. Anyways, it's just in time for the trade deadline, right? It gives them, I think there's like 3 more games after that till the trade deadline. So it gives them a couple of games, teams to look at him. I mean, as long as he's playing, I think he's going to be moved. Slav was wearing a brace outside his pants, yeah, because he had an operation. And if you've seen this video out there of, it's funny video too, Cole Caulfield pranking Jonathan Drouin by unscrewing the cap of his water bottle at practice, and he gets all wet. But he's back in Montreal, hanging out with the team at the practices. He's got his arms in a sling. He looks great. He looks like he's happy as hell, and he looks great. And yeah, it was good to see. So I saw that video on Twitter. I imagine it's all over social media, so I'm sure some of you have seen that. All right, so I don't have a lot here for game day news today. It was kind of light, and I was out. This one, I don't know that a lot of people are going to know about this yet. Now, I don't know if it's Bally Sports or if that's the father, the company, whatever, the big company. But Bally Sports, which does, you'll see tonight actually for the Hurricanes. It'll say if you're in the Hurricanes area, it's Bally Sports is the network. So they're going bankrupt. They defaulted on a $140. Imagine it was $140, $140 million debt payment. So that's bad news for 12 U.S. teams, the NHL, and apparently the salary cap. They haven't filed for bankruptcy yet, but they're expected to do that soon. Yeah, that means, I don't know what that means. That means it's not going to affect the Habs games. The Habs aren't part of Bally Sports, but there's 12 NHL teams and a bunch of basketball and Major League Baseball teams. I think some football teams that come under this problem. So I don't know how it's going to affect anything, but it might be something that keeps the salary cap down a little bit. Not good news, not what, not the kind of news we're hoping to hear about the salary cap. But at least for the Habs, as a Habs fan, there's no worry about their TV contract. But Carolina is one of the teams. I know the Wild off the top of my head. The Kings, the Coyotes, those are 4 just that I can think of. Dallas Stars. These guys have, their games are shown on Bally Sports. So, yeah, I wonder how that'll affect. Anyway, that's all I got for that. We can talk about any of that or anything else that you guys may want to talk about until I do the game preview, which should be in the next 5 minutes or so. All right. Oh, I want to jump down there. Filibuster in the house. Filibuster. I wanted, because this is for you. I inadvertently wrote a poem. Okay, so I don't remember what triggered it, but I got triggered to have, I got 2 lines of a poem, not about hockey. And I wasn't going to do anything with it. I put it to the side and I said, write them down. I wrote them down. And by the time I finished writing, I had like 12 verses. So it's it's my first serious poem where it's about me. It's kind of reflective and all that. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I think in a post-game show, maybe on Saturday, something like that, if I finish it by then. I'm going to not read it. I have to record that. I don't think I could read that live. I just wanted to tell you, Phil, because that's the first serious work I've done, like outside of doing a hockey poem. Yeah, so I'm really interested to know what you think about it. But when I'm done, I might end up sending it to you in an email so I get your opinion. But I'm not done yet. I write a lot of that inadvertent stuff. It just, and then I sit down and something comes out of it. All right, let's go back to hockey. So I'm glad you're here tonight, Phil, because I wanted to tell you that. Where was I going? Where was I? I don't even remember where I was. Oh, there. With Drouin playing well, would it be best to trade him now and get a decent return? Yeah, absolutely. When are you going to trade him other than now? It's the trade deadline time. I mean, it's not trade deadline day, but we're in trade deadline time now. Trades are going to happen and things are going to heat up. Guys are being sat out already from games because trades are imminent. So, sure, absolutely. I think this really, for a guy like Drouin, who it seems like are we going to be able to move him at all? No. And I think now that he's got 12 points in his last, it depends where you look, 12 or 13 games. And I think a team will reach out depending what the cost is. It won't be high. Montreal probably retain 50%. Yeah, I think Drouin's playing well enough to get himself traded out. And he knows it too. I was just reading something about it. I mean, he knows that he's going to get traded away. No, I was listening in the morning when I get up. I had the radio on, the local TSN station. He knows that he's getting traded. And, I think now they can do it. I'm a little rambly because my microdose kicked in heavy before the show started. So there you go. Habs Guru, hey Guru, 5-2, Carolina, Aho with the first goal. That's exactly what I got. We're so often the same thing. I also added, could be KK, but I'm allowed to do that, put 2, but we have the exact same guess so often. Habs over everyone all the time, 5-3. That's the filibuster with Kirby Doc getting the first goal. He says performing surgery first. But it's a lot of optimism for the Habs that I don't see over these next few games. I really don't. I think we're going into a small losing streak again. Which, listen, you know what? Organically, it puts them right where they need to be. Filibuster, that's what I'm working on. This is going to go in that book. If I'm going to do a book, I'm working towards that. It's just with my ADHD, when I get a goal like that and there's something, that means I can't write all of a sudden. But recently I've written now 3 poems. Almost finished a 4th. So I might be out of that. So I'm hoping I am. But yeah, I'm trying to get to a certain number of them before I'm thinking of publishing anything. But I'm working on it. I promise you I am. And now I can add some serious stuff on top of that, which I didn't know if I could write. I'm actually very proud of this. So, Lucas, 5-2, Carolina. Raphael Harvey Pinardo with the first goal. Awesome. I'm fine with what is happening right now. Being in the dumps too long makes talent want to leave. Well, yeah, and you know what? Look at the way they're playing pretty good to really good with a team that's decimated by injuries. So you can imagine that with the talent that is here, when they're all healthy and they're all this team's going to be really fucking good, right? I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but the future is bright in Montreal. There's no doubt. As long as the world doesn't collapse around us, we may see a Stanley Cup again before everything does. Who knows? Okay, I guess I'll get to the preview. Let me get to the preview, get that out of the way, and then we'll get back to you guys. All right, so tonight's game, hang on a second. Game number 55. So the 23, 27, and 4 Montreal Canadiens are in Carolina to take on the 35, 10, and 8 Hurricanes. Pretty strong team. How to watch this game? Start time 7 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. In the Habs region, TSN2 as always in English and RDS as always in French. In the Hurricanes region, and as I was speaking about, Bally Sports South. So, and if you're streaming, I always suggest NHL66.com. Season series. They haven't played yet, so tonight's the first game. They're going to play again March 7th in Montreal, and then again April 1st in Montreal to end the season. Last 10 record for both these teams, 5-4-1 is Montreal's, and they have won their last 3 games. And the Hurricanes are 8-1-1, and they won their last one. So they must have had a loss before that, and that was their only loss in their last 10. Home and away. Montreal is away, so 9-13-3 on the road, and Carolina is 17-6-2 at home. Tail of the tape. Scoring chances for percentage, 44.4% for Montreal, 28th, and 59.5% for Carolina. They're first in the league on that. Goals per game, 2.67 for Montreal, 29th, and 3.30 for Carolina, 10th. Goals against per game. By the way, just something I read. You'd think a team of Carolina's strength be scoring a little bit more than they are. Their analytics are great, and then they're not scoring as much. I don't know the reason why, but I just wanted to say that for some reason. Goals against per game, 3.59 for Montreal, 26th, and 2.68 for Carolina, 7th. So that's almost that's a little over a little less than a full goal difference. Power play percentage, 16.7% for Montreal, 28th, and 20.2% for Carolina, 20th. So not what you'd expect, but still a good power play. PK percentage, 73.4% for Montreal, 29th, and 81.8% for Carolina, 7th. So our shitty power play is going to have trouble scoring on their really good PK. Last season, head-to-head, they beat us all 3 times. It's all needs to be known. None of them in overtime. Face-off percentage, 49.5%. That's Montreal's. That's 19th in the league, and they have a 53% even success rate at the dot, and that's 4th in the league. Shots on goal and shots against per game. Shots on goal for us, 28 per game, and for them, 34.8, and against, 33.6 for Montreal and 26.5 for them. So got a good defense. All right, so goalies. It's going to be Sam Montembeault tonight, which you might be surprised because Allen has been really great, but just to show you that even though this is going to be a tough game, they're not holding Monty out of it. 11-10-2 record with a 317 goals against and a 909 save percentage. And on the other side, it's going to be Antti Ranta tonight, 13-2-3, 246 goals against, 902 save percentage, 2 shutouts for him. And players to watch over the last 5 games. For points, both tied at 5. Hoffman for us, Brent Burns for them. Goals, same thing as in tied at 3. Harvey Pinard for us, Brent Burns for them. And assists, Drouin with 5 for us, Svechnikov with 4 for them. And plus minus, Kovacevic with a +7. And Chatfield over there with a +5. Leaders, team leaders for goals, Cole Caulfield for Montreal with 26, Aho with 23 for Carolina. Points, 42 points for Nick Suzuki, 47 for Martin Necas. Average time on ice, Mike Matheson, 23-24, and Brent Burns, 23-20. And wins, Jake Allen with 12, Antti Ranta with 13. Surprising for a team like Carolina that's really leading everything in or our division, or whatever, their division. The numbers just are so similar to what our guys are. It's weird. I don't know if I'm putting that out right, but I was surprised at the numbers. All right. Maybe the shrooms make me freak out. I don't know. Bottom 10 from number 10 down, let's say. Ottawa, Philadelphia, St. Louis, then Montreal, Arizona, Vancouver, San Jose, Anaheim, Chicago, and Columbus to round it out. Arizona on the rise there. So maybe Arizona will pass us soon, but we'll see. That would be cool. Let's see Montreal push down a little bit. Top 5 in scoring for Carolina. Martin Necas, 21 goals, 26 assists, 47 points. Aho, even on both of them, 23. I'm not saying that right. 23 goals, 23 assists. Easier. Why'd you waste your time, Rick? 46 points. Svechnikov, 19 goals, 24 assists, 43 points. Burns, 11 goals, 27 assists, 38 points. And Nason, 10 goals, 17 assists, 27 points. For Montreal, my nose always itchy when I'm on. Must be from all the cocaine that I do. I'm just joking. Top 5 for Montreal. Suzuki, 17 goals, 25 assists, 42 points. Cole Caulfield, 26 goals, 10 assists, 36 points. And Kirby Dach now, right up his arse in points-wise anyways. 12 goals, 23 assists, 35 points. Dvorak, 9 goals, 14 assists, 23 points. And did I say Dach with 23 points? 35 points. What an idiot I am sometimes. Dyslexic. Josh Anderson, 15 goals, 6 assists, 21 points. Canes lines. Aho centering Teravainen and Jarvis. KK in between Svechnikov and Necas. Jordan Stahl in between Martinuk and Fast. And Paul Stastny in between Stepan and Nason. The defensive pairings, Slavin and Burns. Shea, it's Brady Shea, I think it is. Shea and Pesci, Dahan and Chatfield and Antiranta starting. And for Montreal's lines, they are unchanged from last time, except for Monty starting. So Suzuki, Harvey Pinard, and Anderson. Dach, Dadonov, and Hoffman. Dvorak, Drouin, and Armia. Belzile, Pizzetta, and Ulinen. Matheson and Barron. Harris and Savard. Kovacevic and Weidman. Monty starting. Rem Pitlick is the healthy scratch. And there you go. What say y'all? Let me just find where I was. I think that's where I was. I think so. I had that. Freeze. Hey, Freeze. This will be a tough game for the boys. Absolutely, this is going to be a tough game. And, it's not out of the realm that they can go in there and have a good game, but you can't look at this game and go, yeah. I mean, in my opinion, I can't look at this game and go, yeah, Montreal's going to win this game. Yeah, I don't know. Lucas says, very bright. We just maybe need to move some prospects for other stuff. We are getting a bit bloated on prospects, but that's a better problem to have than not to have. Absolutely. And, that bloat in prospects, I mean, that could be, lightened with whatever the moves are that they're going to make. Use those prospects to help get new you got to freshen the prospect pool a little bit at a time, and that's probably what they'll do a little bit here. And moving, it might help to move guys like Dadonov and even Drouin, who's playing well now. But yeah, you use those guys. All right. I'm just I told you what was wrong. All right. Pushing on through. Let's see. Phil agrees. Lucas can't have enough prospects. Injuries in life happen all the time. Rather let the least qualified go than be missing out anywhere. Listen, but that's what I mean. You let them sort of filter through. Some guys go, but brings in new draft picks to make new prospects, and that's how you keep the thing going. ABL 5-2 Canes with Sami Kapanen getting the first goal. Okay. Kapanen never played for us, so I don't know why that reference. But he'll just let us know down the road where his actual pick is. I know it's old news now, but how is KK doing? He's had a good last month from what I understand. His numbers now, I believe, with Dvorak are pretty much the same. So he's caught up for this year. And, it looks like KK is going to be a lot like Dvorak, which is fine. And Dvorak makes close to the same money, so I guess you could look at it and say, but I still think he's overpaid. And yet I don't think that in Dvorak because I don't know why. Hey, Daryl, how you doing, man? 3-2 Habs. Suzuki, first goal. KK is in articles all over trade speculations, all over in trade speculations in the first year of his 8-year, $4.8 million contract. Yeah. Listen, it could be a decent contract now, and he's young enough to make that. That's not going to be a bad contract the whole way through, especially if the cap goes up. Lucas says he was in shock to see Arizona shut out the Bolts last night. Yeah, they're on the way up. So, something like that could happen here, and Montreal does it. But I hope in games like this, they'll at least give us they'll try to push downward. But you never know. Listen, these young kids, they're full of confidence and playing well. So, I don't know. Well, Phil, I just did the lineup, and he's second line center. If that's an accurate line, I don't know if that's accurate. How the lines are, but I do know that he's had a push this last month. He's had some good numbers to bring those numbers up to whatever they are, which aren't great or anything. But I mean, from what I understand, it's the same as Devo. I did the thing, right? So, we got a lot of time to talk. Yeah, good. How did I do this all so quickly? I usually struggle to get it on time and have, I don't know. Yeah, I think he's second line now, and it's been the last month he's been playing better. So, but I think you're right. Like most of the season, he's been on the third or fourth line. Mary Jo, how's it going? 6-3 Canes, Svechnikov. Hope Monty doesn't concede 6 though. He might though. I mean, I'm going 5-2, so I mean, I don't. I think he's prepared for it. I think I'm just happy that the Habs didn't keep going with Allen, because they would have earlier in the season, and last year they would have just kept going with Allen in these tougher games, and they're going to give Monty his share of them, and I like that. Hey Justin, how you doing, man? I'm doing well, thank you. Didier, how you doing? What is the Habs' biggest winning streak this year? I think it's 3 games on. I think that they just had a 3-game winning streak. I think it's the second one this year, and I think that's the longest. I could be wrong, but I think that is the longest, which is great. I mean, do you really want to make? I mean, listen, if they win tonight, it'll be 4, and I think tonight will be the longest, or this streak. Teravainen with the first goal. Okay. You're going to be in the. I'm not going to look through it and see that. So you better remind me in the game if you win. I'm really looking forward to the trade deadline this year, especially lots of big names available. Yeah, I think the trade deadline's kind of on right now. I heard of a bunch of names that are being sat out, healthy scratches, and probably, why are they doing that? Because there's going to be some movement. So, yeah. We're about 2 weeks before the trade deadline now, and I said 2 weeks in, you're going to see that guys are going to move. And when I say something, man, the NHL listens to me. Yeah, Lucas, at this point right now, I would rather have Devo here than KK. Now, if you go like 5 years down the road or 4 years down the road, it might be different, right? KK could grow into that body and be, the experienced veteran and all that. But right now, I agree with you for sure. BL, very true. But if my aunt were my uncle, she'd have balls, and that's not the case, right? Who can I see next season from Habs farm team who will make the NHL? Well, Rafael Harvey Pinard for sure will be here. Ullinen probably, and I believe Ullinen they kind of need to. I don't know if he's threatened to go back to Europe if he's or what, but I read something a little bit like that. I don't think it's a threat though, but I mean he's thinking of doing that. So I think those two guys will stay. Offhand, I don't know. I can't think of any names offhand, but whoever is ready to make the jump. And if not, they'll fill the spots in with signings, low key signings. Yeah, but Phil, they don't acknowledge that shit. So I've said that same stuff to him, but he won't acknowledge that. Jack Eye was undrafted, but he was signed. They had to sign him, and he was signed by Bergevin. Bergevin did some shitty moves, yeah, of course, and he did some really good ones, and some good drafting in the last couple of seasons, and we're all loving that. Grimes, hey Grimes, how you doing, man? Oh, wait, some kind of news. I don't know why it lit up. That doesn't mean. Oh, we're talking about that. Okay, you're arguing against Bergevin, but anyways, whatever. You guys can argue. It's history now. We have new management here now. Lucas, yeah, I think trade deadline is going to be fun because it's going to be like long, but I think trade deadline day is going to be boring. I'm not sure I'm going to do much of a live stream because I think it's going to be pretty boring and everything's going to pretty much happen. So I don't expect big moves I don't expect big things. Montreal will move guys, but I mean, the returns are going to be, draft picks and prospects. It's not going to be big stuff. I don't know what Toronto's going to get. I don't know what they can afford. It's they're going to have to pull off some magic, I guess, to do it. I haven't heard much about Line though, Guru, this year. I have to say, up every year till now, yeah. I can't say I've heard a lot about rumors about Line. I mean, I don't know that I would because he's where he is. Would I rather have Kachuk or Jack Eye? He's not asking me, but would I rather have Kachuk? That's a really good. Actually, that's a really good question, and I will say right off the top, I'm going to say Jack Eye, but it's a good question because Kachuk, you can't argue that kid. I don't like him, but you can't argue the talent. And I was a Kachuk guy, and I wanted us to have him. So yeah, but I think we kind of need Jack Eye, what he brings to the table more than anything. That toughness, that we're going to miss that in the next little while. You're going to see how we miss having that guy around. Harry Rice, how you doing, man? 5-3 Canes. Dvorak opens the scoring. He says also, Jack Eye, I do like him more. He seems like a leader type of guy. Kachuk, all he is a natural born loser. No, I wouldn't say that though. We don't like him because we didn't draft him, and if he was doing that shit for our team, we wouldn't be saying that about Kachuk. We'd be behind him. No, it's not Harry Rice for the correct answer. You remember where you are, right? It's Rick has the correct answer. Everybody's allowed their opinion. No, I don't think you're right when you say what you're saying, but I do agree with you that it's a good question. It's depending on what you need from the player that you're talking about, right? I just think that what we get from Jack Eye is more important, and you can get what Kachuk delivers easier than you can get what Jack Eye delivers. How's that? Is that a better way to put it? Lucas, I kind of agree with you, although I don't remember seeing him play that much, but I like what I see in him now, and I think he belongs. Um, I definitely think he belongs in the NHL with a team like Montreal that's rebuilding and given a shot next year over bringing in a veteran. Is that a good way to put it? How am I doing in time? Yeah, we have about 5 minutes to go. Harry says, I wouldn't be surprised if Ullinen gets sent down. He's not doing much at all in the past 4 or 5 games. He's a depth guy, but I saw more potential out of Anthony Richard in his short call-up earlier. I don't disagree even with that, but what I'm saying is next season when because the question I was asked about was next year. Once we've gotten rid of the excess in the forwards, I think these young guys like Ullinen, and they need to get a shot with the team next season. But I agree with you with Anthony Richard as well. He needs to get a shot as well. And that's a name I forgot. Anthony Richard is one of those guys that, yeah, it should be a call up next year and given a shot here. Kachuk's been playing for 5 years, and all he's seen is the basement of the standings. Yeah, that doesn't mean he's not a good player. You know, you have to take a lot of things into account for that. I think on a basement team, he's got what 55 points or right around there this season. Nothing wrong with that. Harry, what you're saying, and you know what? I think, as much as it pains me to say this, what you're saying is the difference between Suzuki and Hughes is probably as a 1C or a 2C, but they balance out kind of, right? The difference in skills. Suzuki might not be as skilled offensively, but he is definitely more skilled on the defensive side of the puck and all that other stuff, right? So, yeah, I think overall, I think teams need both guys. I mean, you just need both of those kind of guys, right? But I think the more important guy to have on the team first is a guy like Suzuki who has that 200-foot game. But man, who's going to say no to a guy like Jack Hughes the way he's been playing? Okay, let's see. I'm just trying to. I don't want to get involved in this argument any longer, so I'm trying to find new material to pull from. It's all old stuff, we're all going. Why are you going back in the past so much? Brady Kachuk, we didn't draft him. Fine, that should be history. Bergevin no longer here. Why are we arguing over all that still? Do I think we will win our 4th straight game tonight? I do not. Is it out of the realm of possibility? No, of course not. But I mean, it's hard for me to look at this game and go, yeah, they're going to win tonight. No. You hate the smiling face YouTube glitch. What's that? I don't even know what that is. I got to go in like a minute now. I'm just trying to get to the end here. Well, I can just scroll to the end. Oh, I'm not going to get to all those. Ooh, Jesus. I'm going to try to pick a couple. Hey, Oases. Can Dadonov and Drouin keep up so we can trade them for something at least? Dadonov I can't speak for exactly, but Drouin has been doing his part lately. He's got 12 points in his last 13 games. I think he's now very tradable. You might have to toss something in, though, but that's fine. We'll see what I think Drouin gets traded. Dadonov, it's iffy, but, I don't know. Not reading about that. Okay, since you're all arguing still, most of it's arguments about that stuff. I'm taking off. And hopefully I'll be in better shape for the. I'll be back in 20 minutes for the live hangout. I want to thank everybody for being here, and thanks for the conversation. And see you soon. So till then, stay safe out there. Peace out. And that's it. Ciao, everybody. See you in 20 minutes. Bye, everybody.